Hello, friends, and good morning. It's Miss Shaheen. Welcome to your language and literacy session for today. It is Thursday, September 24th, and I'm happy to be here with you. We are going to start, as we do every day, by grabbing our CJs, and we're going to write what we will be covering in the language and literacy section. So please take a moment and write the following. We will be completing Logic of English, Lesson 22, Part 1. We will finish Part 2 on Friday. So again, take a moment to write the following in your CJs. And the wonderful thing about these recorded videos is that you can pause at this time to take all the time that you need to write this, okay? But I would like to go ahead and get started. If you're ready, let's jump right in. So we are going to start with an activity, again, identifying our final sounds in words. We've been looking at this now the last couple of days. Our last 2 days, we have started with activities identifying the final sound. We will still be listening for the final sound today, but instead of circling pictures, I am going to ask you to write the phonogram that you hear that makes that final sound in a word, okay? So I will say a word, and it's your job to listen for the final sound that you hear in the word, and then write the letter that makes that sound. So let's do one together. You will need your marker and your whiteboard, or your line sheet of paper and pencil. And listen to this first word, please. It is pig. Pig. What's the final sound you hear in the word pig? Please go ahead and write that letter that makes that sound. I will do the same thing. I hope you wrote the letter G. Our word pig ends in the sound G, and we know that the letter G makes our G sound. Good. I think we understand what we're doing in this activity. Let's continue, shall we? Erase your boards, please, or move to the next line on your sheet of paper and listen in. Our second word is mad. Mad. What's the final sound you hear in the word mad? Please write the letter that makes that sound. Mad. I hope you wrote the letter D. We hear the sound D at the end of our word mad, and we know that the letter G makes the D sound. Good. Good. Please erase your boards or move to the next line on your sheet of paper there. And we're going to listen in for our next word, which is cup. Cup. What's the final sound you hear in the word cup? Please write the letter that makes that sound. I hope you wrote the letter P. In our word cup, we hear the P sound at the end of our word, and we know that our letter P makes the P sound. All right. Let's move to our next word. Please erase your boards. And we are ready and listening in. The word is mat. Mat. What's the final sound that you hear in our word mat? Please write the letter that makes that sound. I hope you have written the letter T. We hear the sound T at the end of the word mat. We know our letter T makes the sound T. Good. All right, I think we're getting the hang of this. Let's keep going, friends. Please listen in for your next word. It is hat. hat. What's the final sound you hear in the word hat? Please write the letter that makes that sound. I hope that you have written the letter T. In our word hat, we hear the sound T at the end. We know that T makes the sound T. All right. Please erase your board or move to the next line on your sheet of paper. And we are listening in for the word that's coming up next. This word is lid. Lid. What's the letter that makes the final sound you hear in lid? Please write that letter down. I hope you have the letter D. In the word lid, we hear the D sound at the end. Good. All right. Students, we're moving right along. Please erase your board or move to the next line on your sheet of paper. We are ready for the next word, I think. Okay. The word is wig. Wig. What's the final sound you hear in the word wig? Please write the letter that makes that sound. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if our answers match. Did you write the letter G? Okay. Yeah, in the word wig, we hear the sound G at the end, and we know that the letter G makes the G sound. Nice. Please erase your boards or move to the next line on your sheet of paper. We're going to listen in for the next word, which is mess. Mess. What's the final sound you hear in the word mess? Please write the letter that makes that sound. I hope you have written the letter S. Yeah, in our word mess, we hear the S sound at the end, and we know that the letter S makes the S sound. All right. Please erase your boards or move to the next line on your sheet of paper and get ready to listen in for the next word. Coming up, it is hiss. Hiss. What's the final sound you hear in the word hiss? What's the letter that makes that sound? Well, we just heard that in the word mess too, didn't we? So I hope again you've written the letter S. We hear the sound S at the end of the word hiss. All right. Friends, we are almost finished with this activity. We have one final word. Let's listen in. Our last word is map. Map. What's the sound you hear at the end of the word map? Please write the letter that makes that sound. Let's see. Do our boards match? Did you write the letter P? I hope so. Yeah, at the end of our word map, we hear the sound P, and we know that letter P makes the P sound. Very good. All right. Nice job, students. Nice job. So we can keep our whiteboard and marker next to us or our line sheet of paper and pencil. We're going to do some writing, but right now I'd like you to switch your attention. Please take a look up on the screen here, if you would, because I am going to introduce you to our new phonogram today. We have a new letter that we're going to learn. Before we get to writing it, let's learn the sound that it makes. Are you ready? Okay, here it is. Our new phonogram today is the letter W. W. And it makes the sound W. W. Can you please say that sound at home? W, W for W. Good. Now, our sound W. Can we sing that? Not really. When we say the sound W, is our mouth wide open? W, W. Not really. Not really. We know that those are the two things that we do when we are testing to see if a letter is a vowel or a consonant. So what do you think? Is W a vowel or a consonant? You're right, it's a consonant. It's a consonant. We cannot sing the sound that it makes, and we don't say that sound with our mouths open. That's what it needs if it were a vowel. Because it doesn't do those things, it's a consonant. Very good job. Okay. So now let's learn how to write our letter W. Oh, actually, friends, forgive me. We have one more thing to do, don't we? I haven't even taken us to our Doodling Dragons book. My goodness. I'm moving too quickly. Okay, so before we learn to write it, let's take a look at our letter W a bit more closely. Here it is. Our Doodling Dragons book. I have it right next to me. Our book of sounds. We're going to take a look at our letter W. W. Let's see some words that use our letter W. Let's listen in for the sounds we hear. Wishful wolves wearing wigs. Wispy willows snapping twigs. Wily wizards on a wire. Water, water, wildfire. Uh-oh. Let's listen again. Wishful wolves wearing wigs. Wispy willows snapping twigs. Wily wizards on a wire. Water, water, wildfire. Okay. That's our letter W. Now that we've had a chance to take a look at it and to listen to some of its sounds, let's learn to write it, shall we? Okay, we are at that point. So please take a look at our flashcard here. I would like us first to learn the proper strokes that we will use to write our letter. So our writing grid here, we have our top line, our midline, and our baseline. Where does our letter W start? You're right, on the midline. I see that too. So we are going to start our letter W at the midline. We're going to come down to the baseline, swing up to the midline, down to the baseline, swing up to the midline, and there we have it. Let's try that one more time, the proper strokes. We start at the midline, down to the baseline, swing up to the midline, down to the baseline, swing up to the midline, and there we have our letter W. How do we feel, friends? Are we ready to try that on our own? I think so. Okay. So now if you would please, take your marker or your pencil and practice writing the letter W 3 times. I'm going to do it with you. We're going to start at the midline, down to the baseline, swing up to the midline, down to the baseline, and swing up to the midline. 3 times. There we go. Your board or your page should look something like this. And if you would, please take a look at the 3 letter W's that you have written, and let's choose one that we think is our best. Which one was our best handwriting? I think for me, actually, my first one was probably my favorite. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Yeah. All right. So now that we have learned the proper strokes that we use to write our letter W, what do you think about getting some more practice in? Are you ready? Yeah, me too. Me too. Let's get some real practice in. Where do we go next when we want to practice a new letter that we have learned? Our workbooks. Yeah, that's right. You guys know. You know the routine. So if you would please at this time, find your Foundations A workbook. That's what we will be using. And once you have that, you are going to turn to page 70. Find 70 in the bottom corner of your page there. It looks like this. This is lesson 22, our 22.1 handwriting practice page. And you're going to see our writing grid, 4 different lines there, 4 different sizes. Okay, I've already done some practice because I like the letter W. All right, but yours should be blank. I would like you to also write the letter W 3 times as I have here on each line. Of course, you can start at the top. That's the smallest line. That's where I like to begin. Or if you'd like, you can begin on the bottom line here, which is the largest. Sometimes it's more comfortable for our hands to start out on the bottom and work our way up, whichever you would prefer. So please, friends, go ahead now and write the letter W 3 times on each line. I will do the same. All right. And again, when you've had a chance to go through and write on each line, your workbook page will look something like this. The neat thing about these recorded lessons, of course, is that if you haven't been able to do that just yet, you can pause the video and take all the time that you need. Of course, I encourage you to practice writing your letter W more if you would like to. It's always a good thing. But at this point, we have now finished our lesson for today. This was our language and literacy part 1. We completed part 1 of our lesson 22. Okay, so I do have another video for you today. I will be back for our language and literacy part 2. We are going to talk about part of speech, verb. What's a verb? An action word. I hope you knew that at home because I did have 2 YouTube videos for you to watch yesterday. And it introduced you to our new part of speech, verbs. Those are our action words, our doing words. So we're going to look at that a little bit more in the next video. And we're also going to talk about themes in a story. The last 3 days, you've been talking about different parts in the plot of a story with Miss Ferreira. Now, I understand that some of you have not been able to watch the videos with Miss Ferreira, so I will do a short review at the beginning of the next lesson, okay, so that we're all caught up. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Thank you, friends.